This Hero Club Christmas special uses homebrew from our good friends at Mage Hand Press. Go check them out at magehandpress.com. Welcome to Hero Club. I'm Nick Williams.
And I am George Primavera.
George and I have been playing D&D together for years.
Now, a lot of people think you need to be a big, huge nerd boy to play Dungeons & Dragons.
But in reality, you just have to be willing to spend 4 hours of your own time on a weekday trashed on cheap beer cross-legged around a coffee table.
I lost a game of Flip Cup in 2012, so I had to buy all the books and learn how to be Dungeon Master. My dad was disappointed.
Yeah, he was. But after a game or two, we realized that it's actually a really fun and effective way to tell an awesome story.
Yeah, it's like long-form improv, but you kill more people.
Here's what you need to know. George creates a world and the framework for a cool story.
And the players, like Nick, create characters beforehand, all with special abilities, sometimes magical, sometimes not, and they adventure through the story as best they can, trying not to die.
We, the players, roll dice to see if our improvised actions fail or succeed, trying to beat a number in George's head that he promises he doesn't change at will.
But at the table, I am God, my game, my rules.
Okay, so it's as nerdy as you thought. You know what? Just man.
Oh, okay.
It off,
All right,
okay?
Nick, maybe don't tell everybody to... And it's not that nerdy. I mean, we get rid of all that stupid math, and we add music and sound effects and stuff like that, so, you know, it's cool.
Anyway, these stories do follow a linear plot, so if you want to know what's going on, start at the beginning of any season you like, and have fun with it.
Without further ado...
Welcome to Hero Club! Yeah!
Your parents tuck you in, but no one's sleeping. It's Christmas Eve, and you hear footsteps creeping.
Is it a dragon?
Is it a ghost?
Is it Santa?
Well, almost. It's Santa's little helpers. Santa's little helpers. They're ready for adventure with you and your companions too. They're Santa's little helpers. Santa's little helpers. With lemon curd and gingerbread and healing words and fuzzy heads. When Santa's riding in his sled, who does Santa send you instead?
Ho ho ho! Merry Christmas!
Santa's little helpers! Alpha Team Tinsel descends into the well within the rickety, ominous shack, climbing the ladder downward for several minutes before finally reaching an open cavern about 100 square feet. The cavern is completely bare, and at the far end, away from the ladder, set into the stone, is the interior of a car door, window and all.
Cuthbert walks up to the car door, stares at it a moment.
Don't worry, darling, I'll use my new fingers. And Helga goes over to the car and attempts to open the door.
Helga pushes the door outward and it swings on a hinge, revealing the snow-covered streets of a suburban neighborhood. A blizzard rages.
Well, blow me down. Cuthbert heads through the door.
Well, that was rude.
Thank you, lass.
Helga looks around the room for anything that might have indicated Timmy's presence there.
Roll a perception check for me.
20.
You don't see anything clear, but there do seem to be signs of a struggle on the ground below you. Scuff marks, some disturbed dirt, etc.
Helga follows Cuthbert out into the blizzard.
Cuthbert, just once, I would like to see someone else go through a door first.
Swapper follows.
You'll have to beat me to it, Tin Man.
Tubbs takes one last look around the tunnel and then follows through the door, closing it behind him.
The storm is bitter cold and blindingly white. As you all turn around, you see a small sedan, its front crumpled against a now severely damaged pine tree. Telephone poles and wires extend in every direction, making for a very disorienting landscape. When you peek through the passenger side door, you can still see the cavern with the ladder leading up the well, but beyond the sedan is more open landscape.
Cuthbert tries to see if he can recognize their new setting and makes a history check. 15.
The neighborhood definitely looks similar to the one that you landed in earlier this evening, but not exactly the same.
Strange. It seems that is where the nightmare is originating from.
Helga looks for footprints in the snow, or continued signs of a struggle around her.
Roll a perception check.
19.
Helga, you pretty quickly spot some significant footprints leading away from the car.
Okay, everyone, I think they went this way. And she follows after the direction of the footprints.
The group trudges along, following the footprints until they actually lead out of the neighborhood, deep into a vast tundra. This continues for about 10-15 minutes until finally, a large hill in the distance becomes visible. Atop this hill, a wooden shack, almost identical to the one in the Nightmare Realm, but without the large sign posted above the doorway. At the very bottom of this hill, one massive sled, and at the top of the hill, around said shack, large icicle pillars create a jagged, threatening porcupine-like structure.
Ooh, scary. Let's go check it out. Cuthbert leads the party to the shack.
As you reach the bottom of the hill, you see a very friendly-looking snowman postured right next to the sled. It has stick arms, coal eyes, a big carrot nose, and a red scarf wrapped around its head. It seems to gesture to the sled with one of its arms.
Swapper stops in place and halts the party.
Wait, let me see if I can scan the area to see if there is any nightmare energy radiating from this snowman.
And makes an Arcana check. 9.
It just looks like an ordinary snowman.
Alright, it's a snowman. You can never be too safe.
Don't worry, Bolts. I'll protect you from any snowmen we might find in the future. Cuthbert continues toward the shack.
Helga looks toward Tubbs and says, Now Tubbsy, I have a feeling we're going to have to make a very quick escape out of here. Would you mind maybe pushing this sled up the hill to wait for us at the top?
Sure thing. And Tubbs grabs the front of the sleigh and pulls it up the hill.
The sled's heavy, but Tubbs, being the strong bear that he is, pulls it up rather efficiently. Helga rests upon the sled while Swapper walks behind. As the party reaches the top of the hill, you get a more clear look at all of the spiky icicles sticking out of the ground, threatening anybody who might approach the wooden shack. All four of you quickly deduce that moving through the spiky icicles will definitely result in some kind of injury. However, there is a wooden gate just at the front with another snowman gesturing to it. On either side of the gate, two massive levers.
All of these defenses, and they just gesture for us to come in. This seems odd.
Maybe one of these levers will open the door. And Tubbs cranks down the left lever.
You hear the mechanics of the lever pull, followed by a loud kerchunk, but nothing actually happens.
And Tubbs pulls the second one.
As soon as Tubbs leaves the first lever, it props back up into its original position. The second lever does exactly the same thing as the first.
Well, that's weird. Maybe I should pull this one again. Tubbs goes back to the first one and pulls that one.
And the second lever returns to the top.
Darn it, stay down, lever. Tubbs goes to the second lever and pulls it down again. Are you seeing this, guys? Why would they make levers that just come right back? I'm gonna go back to the first one and see what happens. Gosh dang it, look, there it is again. And number two's back. Guys, just hold up. I have a theory. I'm just gonna pull number two again and see what happens.
Well, it seems we know the solution to this very rudimentary puzzle, but the question is, do we want to solve it?
Well, how else do you propose we get little Timmy?
Cuthbert just pulls the lever that Tubbs is not pulling.
As Cuthbert pulls the lever opposite Tubbs simultaneously, the gate begins to rise.
Oh, it worked. You gotta see, my dad always said, Tubbs, if you stick to something long enough, it's gonna work out for you. Just gotta put in the time, and you gotta put in the hard work, and that's what he said when I went into the academy, and that's what he said, and it works to this day. You gotta put in the work, and then you'll be number one.
You've got a father?
Tubbs walks through the gate.
As soon as Tubbs lets go of the lever, the gate closes again.
Oh, gosh dang it. Would any of you guys have predicted that happening?
Tubbs,
Yeah?
I think you had it right before.
You're right. I'm gonna pull the right one again. I knew it.
No.
Oh, you mean the two pulls both down at the same time one?
Yeah, let me and Helga go through and we will investigate the other side of the gate.
Okay, you ready? 3. God, what?
No. Cuthbert and Tubbs pull the levers at the same time.
The gate rises
Helga, after you.
Donka, and Helga goes over to investigate the other sides of the gate to see if there are any levers.
The walls on this side are bare. This side is mostly clear, although several of the icicle spears poke menacingly inward, but are rather easily avoidable. A large padlock seals the doors of this shack closed. A third snowman points delicately at the padlock.
Doesn't seem like there's any way to keep it open on this side. I think we have to prop it up. Tubbsy, would you like to go break off some icicles?
Okay, but if I think what you were saying before, if I let go of this lever, that the gate's gonna close, right? Is that what you were saying?
Don't you worry your pretty little head about that. Once we chip off the icicles, we'll prop it up by putting the icicles next to the lever so it stays open.
I mean, I don't get it, but I'll try. And Tubbs goes over and attempts to break a couple icicles off.
Cuthbert takes out his dagger and breaks another icicle off.
You both have an armful of icicle.
Okay, now, what do I do with these? I wasn't really listening before.
Alright lad, what we're gonna do is pull the levers at the same time like before, and then, when we've pulled them open, we'll put all the icicles in the gears of the lever, so hopefully it'll stay jammed open.
You say some crazy things, but sure.
Tubbs and Cuthbert pull the levers simultaneously again.
The gate opens.
Cuthbert shoves icicles into the base of his lever where the gears are in hopes of jamming the lever.
They immediately shred the icicles.
Ugh, popcorn.
I mean, why don't maybe you just go and open that door and we'll just hold it on this side?
If that is the solution, and I think you might be right, and if Timmy is in there, and he might be, I believe that I should be one to hold the gate open. My cold disposition is not one to speak with a child, but Tubbs, you should be one to go towards the door, in case Timmy's there, to give him a hug.
Well, how about we make that plan B? And Helga, lassoing a whip around each lever, pulls them so they stay open from inside the gate boundaries.
The gate remains open.
So now that we can all get through, should we leave the sled or bring it on this side?
As Cuthbert and Tubbs cross the threshold of the gate, Cuthbert says to Helga, I don't see the sled doing much good where we're going. Best it stays out here.
The snowman seems to be pointing to things that he thinks are important. I think we should bring it with us.
Tubbs grabs the sleigh and brings it in through the gate with him.
Aye, well, if the snowman says to do it, I guess we've got to do it. I mean, it's a snowman.
And upon seeing everyone on the inside of the gate, Helga retracts her whips, allowing the gate to close, and goes over to the door to try to pick the lock.
The gate slams shut. Make a sleight of hand check for me.
16.
Deftly moving her finger within the oversized keyhole, the padlock opens and clatters to the ground. From within the shack, you can hear quiet whimpering.
Timmy's in there! Upon hearing the whimpering, Tubbs blasts through the door. Don't worry, Timmy, we're Santa's little helpers, and the only thing we're bringing is bear hugs.
Tubbs, blasting through the door, quickly realizes that he is towering over this child.
Oh gosh, this has never happened before. I'm not a real bear. My name is Tiberius Huggins, and the best hugs is bear hugs. Tubbs gets down on one knee and opens his arms for a hug.
Make a persuasion check.
8.
Little Timmy gathers his knees up and cowers in the corner.
Please don't hurt me.
You can see frost covering his little footy pajamas, and his teeth chatter.
Helga, picking herself up off the floor after having been flung there by Tubbs, looks at Timmy and goes to untie the apron around her waist. There, little Timmy. Santa sent us. You know him? Big man. He has a long white beard, a red hat, very jolly.
Santa?
Yeah, darling, yeah, Santa. And Helga lightly drapes her apron over Timmy's shoulders, but for here to come and take you home now.
I can't leave. He'll be mad if I leave.
Cuthbert shoulders his rifle and takes a knee on the other side of Timmy. Well, that's what we're here for, lad. If he tries to stop us getting you home, I'll get mad. And that can be very scary when I'm mad, boyo. And Cuthbert winks at Timmy.
Timmy's eyes widen in awe.
Swapper, bringing up the rear, enters the house and surveils the scene.
The child is cold.
Opens his claw and casts Produce Flame.
A heat source for the child. Hello, Timmy.
At first, Timmy shrinks backwards, shocked at the large robot holding a ball of fire over him. But the warmth of the fire eventually coaxes him over, and he begins to put his hands out, warming himself.
Wow, you guys are really nice. Nicer than those snowmen.
Is that who you were talking about before?
Sorta.
Swapper's body remains perfectly still as his head slowly turns to Cuthbert.
Cuthbert doesn't break eye contact with Swapper as he says, I think we can handle a couple of snowmen, boy.
What do you mean, sort of?
You hear a laugh outside. Tubbs is the only one who seems oblivious to this frightening laugh, having a bit of a crisis himself.
I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to scare. I'm never this big. I'm usually, I am big if with other toys, but I'm never big for a kid. You know what I mean? Like, usually kids are picking me up. And when I burst through the door, I thought that you'd be a big towering kid. I never thought I'd scare you. That was the last thing I ever thought could possibly happen. I'm so sorry.
Timmy, comfortable now, puts a little hand on top of Tubbs' giant shoulder.
It's okay, Mr. Bear.
Please call me Tubbs. Mr. Bear was my father's name.
How does he have a father?
All right, now, Timmy, I know this is going to be real scary, but you're going to have to be brave for me, okay? Can you do that? I promise I'll protect you.
My mommy says I'm brave all the time. I can be brave.
That's what I thought.
And Tubbs scoops Timmy up and puts him on his shoulders.
Cuthbert, already headed out the door, says over his shoulder, Company.
As soon as the doors to the shack open, you see 3 snowmen, right in a row. The ones to the left and the right are frozen in a gesture to the center one, and the center snowman's mouth begins to move, as once again, the laugh reverberates across the sky.
Run as fast as you can!
There is a crack of lightning and a whip of the wind. The snowmen lunge for the group.
Cuthbert swings his musket up sideways to catch all the snowmen across their chests, attempting to stop them in their tracks.
Roll a strength check for me.
10.
The snowmen quickly barrel Cuthbert over, but go to the ground with him.
Get the lad to the sleigh, now!
Helga attempts to whip both of the snowmen's heads off on either side of Cuthbert. 18, 14.
Both the snowmen's heads fly off and roll into the snow. The snowmen bodies don't go limp, but instead begin to feel around for their heads. One snowman remains on top of Cuthbert.
A heat source for the child.
Swapper hurls the ball of flame towards the remaining snowman. 15.
The snowman's head evaporates, and the body crumples back into the snow.
Cuthbert sputters as melted snowman falls into his mustache.
With Timmy on his shoulders, Tubbs bursts through the 2 snowmen to get to the sleigh and situates Timmy on the top.
Both snowmen clatter to the side as they still move, searching for their heads, and Timmy is placed on the sleigh. Over the gate, you see a couple of stick hands begin to reach over, as several snowmen are apparently climbing, completely unfazed by the icicles cutting the snow away from their bodies. The wind starts to whip up even stronger, and now you notice that clouds overhead are beginning to roil.
Cuthbert starts taking shots at the snowmen who are getting over the wall.
Roll an attack.
21.
One of the snowmen climbing over the fence is knocked backward, disappearing.
Helga jumps up into the sleigh and attempts to look for any mechanisms that might make it fly. Okay, so how do we get this thing off the ground? Come on, baby, in the air we go!
Sleds don't fly.
It's not... transitive property? It doesn't... No? 9? Plan B! Tubbs, looks like we're going to have to recreate trampoline rescue. Are you ready?
I think so.
And Helga jumps onto Tubbs' back.
Oh, I see. Trampoline fun time, Tubbs. You know what to do. I'll protect the child.
Swapper casts Jump on Tubbs. With his first jump, Tubbs gets to the top of the shed.
Roll an athletics check.
20.
Tubbs launches into the air, deftly landing on top of the roof.
And then, taking a few steps back, Tubbs says, "Here goes nothing." Gets a running start and leaps over the wall.
Make another athletics check for me.
27.
With surprising ease, Tubbs vaults over the spiky wall, landing on the other side of the gate. At first a bit surprised at how easy it was to clear, the joy quickly fades, as on the hill and below, you see scores and scores of snowmen begin to form themselves from the snow on top of the hill. Several of them are placing their heads, rotating them just right, and beginning to clamber up the hill, with scowls and grins on their face.
Cuthbert, be ready with that sled. Tubbs takes his position on the first lever.
As Helga goes to open up the second.
The gate cranks open to reveal Cuthbert desperately wrestling with both of the snowmen, having regained their heads. Swapper body blocking Timmy.
Just give me a sec. 15 for the first, 15 for the second. The blade pierces through the midriff of both snowmen.
The architecture of the snow begins to crumble, and the snowmen sort of fold in on themselves, falling backward into the snow, quickly trying to reform themselves.
As he runs to the sled, Cuthbert kicks his foot through both piles of snow, making it harder for the snowmen to rebuild.
Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on.
All right, human Timmy, just look at the flame,
Swapper casts Produce Flame.
and we'll be on our way. Let us go, Cuthbert. You first.
With Swapper and Timmy already on the sled, Cuthbert gives it a running start down the hill as he hops on himself. Buchanan!
With the weight of all the people on top of the sled, it sinks down into the snow and isn't able to move quite as quickly. In fact, by the time it clears the gate, its momentum is almost completely diminished.
Hop on, I'll push.
And Helga hops on the sled.
Tubbs, with all of his might, begins to push the sled down the hill from behind.
Tubbs, you're able to make some progress moving down the hill, but you're only moving maybe 7 or 8 miles an hour tops. Really dangerous territory for these snowmen fast approaching. Even the downhill isn't able to give you enough momentum to get on top of the snow. Timmy, instilled with a new bravery, excitedly and confidently looks at his new friends.
You guys should do it like Santa does it. Have somebody pull. Somebody fast.
Oh, jeez, I wish we'd do somebody fast.
Human Timmy, you are very smart. Do not be alarmed, everyone, for I will not be able to talk, but I will be turning into, I believe, shoes. In this world, I may not be shoes. I may be something else, but I assure you I will be very fast. Helga, wrap your ropes around me. Hold on.
Swapper's simple transformation into a pair of shoes does not occur. His form grows larger, more complex, the simpleton giving way to a complicated robotic form of a metal reindeer, adorned with a large wind-up key right on the back. Steam bellows from his nostrils.
On Donner, on Cupid, on Swapper und Blitzen! And Helga cracks the reins.
And Swapper takes off.
With a lurch, the sled shoots down the hill.
Whoa!
Swapper lowering his antlers, plowing through snowmen, desperately trying to stop their momentum.
I love this job! Cuthbert is standing on the back of the sled, facing uphill, as he swings his musket like a baseball bat, catching 2 snowmen at a time on each swing, sending snow through the air like confetti.
Yeah!
Helga continuing to drive on Swapper through the snowmen. Well, I think Mission Reindeer Surprise would be a good name for this one, don't you think, team?
Yeah!
And Helga starts to delicately move the sled from side to side, taking out more snowmen as they go.
As Swapper gallops along, the steam from his nostrils begin to melt the faces of snowmen directly in front of him as he passes by.
This is great!
Tubbs moves forward in the sled and wraps one arm around Timmy, holding on for dear life so as to make sure the child doesn't fly off, and throws the other in the air, having a blast. Oh man, oh man, oh man, oh man.
Yeah!
There's a crack of thunder as the clouds begin to roil more intensely, and you hear an angry voice screech into the air.
No! No, you can't have him! He's mine! I stole him first! Kill him!
There's a tremendous bump as the sled meets level ground, and the whole party is suddenly back in the neighborhood, streaming towards the car. The decimated crowd of snowmen begin to put themselves back together and approach. But they're far, far behind and have quite a bit of distance to make up. As the sled skids adjacent to the crumpled car, Timmy's eyes go wide.
That's my dad's car.
A single tear begins to roll down Timmy's cheek, and he begins to shake with fear. As Timmy's confidence is clearly shaken, you see the snowmen cock their heads and begin to move forward more confidently.
Now, Timmy, darlings, there's no need to worry. None of this is real. This is all a dream that's happening. And remember your mother, how she wants you to be brave? We have to be brave right now.
I want my mommy.
More tears begin to cascade down Timmy's cheeks.
I agree with you there, lad. Enough chit-chat, folks. Let's get them home. Cuthbert starts taking shots at the snowmen and motions for everyone to head into the car.
Tubbs scoops Timmy back onto his shoulder and heads for the door.
Tubbs, as you pop open the car door and try to take Timmy into the cavern, he inexplicably slips your grasp and remains outside.
Tubbs gets back down to Timmy's level. You know, it might not look like it because I'm such a big, scary bear, but I get scared sometimes too. You know, I think I get scared all the time, more than most people. I'm a big softy at heart. But all those times you get scared, you just gotta pick yourself up and dust your shoulders off and get right back to it. Because that's what being brave really is. It's not never being afraid. It's when you're afraid, you stand back up on your 2 feet and you face those fears. Now, can you do that for me, Timmy?
Roll a persuasion check with advantage.
13.
Timmy stops crying, but he still seems a little too scared to move.
But I'm scared to go back alone.
Oh, well, Timmy, we're coming with you. And we have another friend waiting for you up there. Tutu wants to see you.
Tutu's here?
Yeah, darling. He said you were his favorite kid.
Roll a persuasion check with advantage.
4.
I'm not scared of the dream. I'm scared for my dad. He hasn't come home yet. He said he'd be home for Christmas Eve.
Swapper slowly reverts back into his robotic form.
Human child, I know that I am not the best voice to hear, but think of it this way. It is almost Christmas. Santa sent us for you. Santa wouldn't let anything bad happen to your father. It's Santa. He can make toys come to life just for you. We're the most elite team, all coming to save you, Timmy. You're logically special. Therefore, your father must be a special grown. I'm sure he's safe, Timmy. I'm sure of it. 98%.
Roll a persuasion check with advantage.
17.
You talk funny.
But little Timmy wipes a tear from his eye and reaches up for Swapper's hand.
A heat source for the child?
9, darling, 9.
Swapper's first hug. And, like Patrick Swayze in Ghost, Tubbs guides Swapper's arms around little Timmy in a big bear hug.
Oh. Thank you, child.
How touching. Very nice. Shall we? And Helga goes in through the car door.
Timmy clambers after her, pulling Tubbs and Swapper along.
Hey, nice job. You really did a great job with that hugs.
Cuthbert, feverishly reloading and still shooting at the snowmen, launches into his heartfelt monologue to Timmy. Alright, you listen to me, lad. I know things may seem scary right now, but once we get topside, we'll find your da, and we'll reunite him with your ma, and everything will be better. I promise you, or my name ain't...
Cuthbert, darling, we need you.
Oh, right. Cuthbert, a little embarrassed at the realization that he is talking to no one, sheepishly clambers through the car door and down the tunnel after the rest of the group.
All 4 toys, with Timmy aloft, begin to climb the ladder. The snowmen, effectively delayed by Cuthbert's expert marksmanship, begin to pile up on the car door, unable to get through. However, even as all the toys are making their way up the ladder and crest the top of the well, the ground in the dusty Nightmare realm begins to shake. Outside of this wooden shack, you hear an engine rev to life.
Hey, you guys back? The ground's shaking. I took a nap and now the ground's shaking.
22! Good to see you, mate. We've got the lad in tow.
Whoa! Hey, Timmy, you're really small. Who shrunk ya?
Tutu! You sound like my Uncle Gino.
The ground begins to shake even more intensely.
Holy cow, we gonna get out of here or what?
Darn Skippy! Drive, you four-wheeled milk jug!
Hey Timmy, can you drive stick? I'm just kidding. Get in!
Tubbs picks Timmy up and plops him into the driver's seat, over the top through the convertible roof.
By the way, I'm a convertible now. Who would have figured? All the toys pile in and around and on top of Tutu, and the new convertible takes off, kicking up a giant cloud of gray dust behind. As they approach that 50-foot chasm that they passed originally when first coming into the Nightmare Realm, Tutu begins to panic. Oh no! I don't know if I can get over! There's no bridge! There's no ramp! I don't know what to do!
It's alright, Tutu. Remember, I'm powerful. And Swapper casts Mold Earth and creates a ramp right in front of us.
Tutu hits the ramp, and there's a moment of quiet as the car hurtles through the air. In that brief moment of silence, behind you, a massive, toady snake-like head explodes upward from underground, right where the shack used to be. There's a dark bellow as the snake begins to coil around, picking its head up like a cobra, and then it begins a rapid pursuit, gaining on you every second. Ahead of you is the original purple tear. Suddenly, everyone realizes there's something wrong. The trajectory is off. Guys!
Instinctively, Tubbs picks Timmy out of the driver's seat from above, wraps his entire considerable bulk around him, and jumps for the ledge.
An athletics check?
20.
Tubbs hits the other side of the canyon, holding Timmy safely in his arms.
Grab the Tin Man! Cuthbert grabs one of Helga's strings and jumps for the ledge himself.
Roll an athletics check.
19.
Cuthbert makes it onto the cliff face on his feet, pulling Helga along with him.
While lassoing her other puppet string onto Swapper, Helga yells, "Try to save Tutu!" 8.
Swapper, make an athletics check to try to grab the rope. It's a little bit wide.
Botch.
The rope falls flat, and Swapper and Tutu begin to plummet down into the ravine.
9. Swapper!
Whoa, what are we gonna do?
We are going to climb!
Swapper begins to transform, but this time his transformation is completely new. Not shoes, not a reindeer, but that of a wind-up monkey with symbols on the ends of his hands. As he completes his transformation, he wraps his arm around Tutu and slams a symbol into the rock wall.
With a jerk, both Tutu and Swapper come to a stop, hanging over the black water below.
His mechanical tail curls around Tutu, locking him in place, and Swapper begins to climb, one symbol smashed into the rock face at a time.
This is amazing!
And Swapper and Tutu crest the surface, miraculously alive.
Swapper unfurls his tail and lays Tutu on the ground, begins slamming his symbols together.
Oi, Metal Man, if you ask me, that was some pretty reckless seat-of-your-pants thinking.
Hey, where'd that monkey come from? I love monkeys. Oh my god, that snake is back!
The group piles back into Tutu like a bunch of clowns stuffing themselves in a car, and they take off.
Go, 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 go!
Tutu shoots towards the purple nightmare tear, and just as he's about to hit it, there's a large bellow from behind you as Gross, the monster in the closet, rears up, having caught up to you, and goes to bite at all of you as a group. But Tutu, in a move uncharacteristically brave after having his life saved by the giant symbol monkey, kicks around in a donut formation, firing gray dust up into the eyes of the big serpent.
Not my new best friends!
And zooms back into the nightmare tear. We cut back to Timmy's room. All is quiet. Only a little clock ticks in the corner. And then, with a flash of light, the closet door blasts open, and Timmy, now larger than all of the toys, including Tutu, who is now the size of a Matchbox car, tumble into the room, the nightmare tear behind them, closing with a snap.
My room! My room! I'm home!
Timmy looks back down at all the very small toys, all beaming up at him, gathers them up in his arms, and gives them a big hug.
Oh, thank you! You saved me! Thank you!
All 4 toys have reverted back to their more simple forms. Tubbs' hair now resembles that of a stuffed animal. Swapper has lost his electrical power and has returned to his original form. Helga's fingers are gone, and her extra joints as well, now replaced by the regular puppet body that she had originally. And Cuthbert's gun has reverted back to just a long sliver of tin.
I reckon you did your own share of saving yourself, lad. And Cuthbert winks up at the boy.
I climbed, Timmy.
That was an excellent display of bravery, young Timmy. Your mother is going to be very proud of you.
Oh, what are we doing? Timmy, you gotta get to bed. The big man's coming. It's almost Christmas.
Hey guys, I think it is Christmas. Though the curtains are drawn over the window, sunlight peeks through. Christmas morning. Downstairs, you hear the front door open.
Timmy, honey, Merry Christmas. Come on downstairs.
Mom?
Timmy gingerly puts all of you down and begins to run downstairs.
The 4 toys do a totem pole peek over the side of the banister.
Timmy runs down the stairs, leaps into his mother's arms, who twirls him around.
Mommy, Merry Christmas!
Merry Christmas, sweetheart. I got you a really special present. You're gonna love it. Come here.
A man who is clearly Timmy's father appears in the doorway, drops to his knees, and holds out his arms.
Daddy! Daddy, you're home for Christmas!
Timmy's father embraces him tightly. I told you I would be, sport. And from outside the doorway, you hear one more voice.
Well, looks like everything's okay here. You folks have a Merry Christmas now.
Thank you so much, Christopher. You truly saved Christmas this year.
Seconded. You saved my life. If you hadn't found me in that storm, I don't know if I would have ever made it home.
Well, sure. Everyone's gotta get home for Christmas.
Santa Claus, in a bright green tow truck uniform, pokes his head in, and after gazing lovingly at the Christmas scene before him, takes a peek up the stairs and makes eye contact with Alpha Team Tinsel, giving them a little wink. Before he takes his leave, he very quickly holds up a finger and points downward at the ground, and then gestures with his thumb over his shoulder, as if to ask you, do you want to stay here, or do you want to come back to the North Pole? All of the toys look at each other for a moment.
Tubbs makes one last slightly tearful wave to Santa, and then runs excitedly back into Timmy's room.
Cuthbert straightens up and salutes before turning and following Tubbs back into Timmy's room.
With a lot of effort, Swapper is able to get his entire arm up to his head in a salute, very similar to Cuthbert's. He then reverses back into the room, never breaking eye contact with Santa.
Helga gives a delicate wave with her hand, blowing Santa a kiss and whispering, Auf Wiedersehen, Herr Klaus, and going into Timmy's room.
The toys settle into their new place in Timmy's room, and as they finally hit their resting positions, there's a little twinkle, and on each toy's chest appears a little medal in the shape of a snowflake. And you hear, gently in the back of your mind, in Santa's voice,
Merry Christmas, Alpha Team Tinsel. See you next year.
This has been a Hero Club production, produced by Nick Williams and George Primavera, with associate producers Marty Abbey Schneider and Dylan McCollum. Voice acting by George Primavera, Nick Williams, Hannah Fagerbaki, Dylan McCollum, Marty Abbey Schneider, and Rebecca Meyer. Theme song written by Matthew McCollum and performed by George Primavera. Special thanks to Kevin MacLeod for his fantastic music, Mage Hand Press for their groundbreaking homebrew, and Marty Abbey Schneider for his incredible artwork. Thanks again for listening, happy holidays, and welcome to the club.
Let's go see if your dad is dead.
That's the sauce.